It's 2 a.m. She's wide awake, scrolling through photos from 1997, back when summers lasted forever, when the biggest stress was running out of juice boxes. She sighs. Life was so much simpler back then. Everything just felt right. But was it actually simpler? Or has her brain been running a very sneaky marketing campaign? Because here's the thing about nostalgia. It's the greatest liar you've ever trusted completely. And today, we're going to expose exactly how it's been fooling you for decades. Ask any busy adult about their childhood. Go ahead. Do it right now at work. They'll tell you it was magical, pure, unburdened by the crushing weight of adulthood. No bills, no deadlines, just endless summer days and genuine happiness that adults can never recapture. The common belief says childhood was objectively better. Simpler times. Pure emotions, real connection. But let's actually think about this for one honest moment. Were you really that happy? Remember being picked last for teams? The absolute devastation that felt like the world was ending? What about that friend who suddenly stopped talking to you? No explanation, just gone forever? The homework you didn't understand, the teacher who embarrassed you in front of everyone you knew, your parents fighting, the dog running away, that birthday party where literally no one showed up. Childhood had plenty of pain, but somehow, your brain only kept the highlight reel for later. Studies show we remember roughly 20% of what actually happens to us. The nice 20%. Your brain isn't a historian, it's a creative director with a very specific agenda to push. So why does this happen? Why does your mind lie to you about your own past? Reason 1. Your brain has something called fading affect bias. Sounds technical, but here it is. Negative emotions fade faster than positive ones. Much faster. It's literally how memory works for survival. That time you scraped your knee? Your brain filed it under, whatever, we survived it completely. But that ice cream at the beach? Golden, eternal, permanently burned into your identity forever. Our busy adult remembers lazy Sunday mornings, cartoons, cereal, zero responsibilities to speak of at all. He doesn't remember the Sunday mornings spent anxious about Monday's spelling test at school. Fading affect bias literally means pain becomes beige over time. Joy stays in vivid high definition. Your brain is protecting you, but it's also gaslighting you about your own lived childhood experience. She remembers summer camp as pure magic, adventure, first friendships, complete and total freedom, finally. She conveniently forgot the homesickness, crying into pillow, begging to go home every single night. Your brain did you a favor. And also, completely rewrote your personal history without asking permission. Reason 2. You're comparing your full adult experience to your limited child one. Not fair at all. As a kid, you didn't know about bills, mortgages, health insurance, retirement savings accounts, politics, ever. Your parents absorbed all of that stress. They were the firewall between you and harsh reality. Life wasn't actually simpler. You just had a much smaller window to look through at it. He thinks childhood was carefree because he didn't see his dad stressing about the car payment deadline. He didn't notice his mom crying in the bathroom. He was playing with action figures downstairs. 73% of adults describe childhood as simpler. But simpler for whom exactly? Not the adults. Your parents were you, just earlier, stressed, tired, wondering if they were screwing everything up completely. The world wasn't better. You just had someone else doing all the worrying for you back then. She remembers perfect family dinners, laughter, connection, everyone together and happy at the same time, finally. She doesn't remember her mother exhausted from cooking after working a full shift all day long. Your limited perspective wasn't a feature of the times, it was a feature of being small and protected. Reason 3. Nostalgia literally triggers the same reward pathways as comfort food. It's designed to feel good. When you remember childhood fondly, your brain releases actual feel-good chemicals, It's a literal reward for remembering. Your brain literally pays you to romanticize the past. It's a built-in subscription service you never requested. This is why old songs hit different, why childhood snacks taste better, why that cartoon still slaps hard. The cereal didn't change. Your brain just associated it with safety, comfort, and zero responsibility whatsoever. Nostalgia evolved as a coping mechanism. When present feels hard, past becomes a warm escape blanket. 2 a.m. hits, work is stressful, relationship feels hard. Brain says, remember when things were perfect? Except they weren't perfect. They were just simpler to navigate because someone else held the map entirely. But nostalgia doesn't care about accuracy. It cares about making you feel better right now in this moment. And that's not entirely bad, but it is worth understanding what's actually happening when it happens. The problem isn't remembering fondly. The problem is believing the lie and feeling worse about your present life. So what do we do with this information? How do we appreciate nostalgia without getting gaslit by it? Fix 1. When nostalgia hits, ask yourself what's actually going on right now in your present life. Nostalgia spikes when we're stressed, lonely, or feeling disconnected from our current life circumstances completely. It's your brain's way of saying, hey, something feels off right now. Let's go somewhere safe mentally. Next time you're deep in childhood memories at midnight, pause. What happened today that triggered this escape? Maybe it was the meeting that went badly, the text that got ignored, the realization you forgot something important. Nostalgia isn't the problem. It's the symptom pointing towards something that needs your attention right now, today. Address the present trigger. The nostalgia will naturally fade when you don't need the escape anymore. He catches himself romanticizing his college years, then remembers, wait, he was broke and anxious then too. The Chihuahua stares at him. She doesn't understand nostalgia. She lives entirely in the present moment, always. Fix 2. Practice adding negative details back into your golden memories. Sounds counterintuitive, but works perfectly. When you remember that perfect summer, actively try to recall one thing that actually sucked about it. The boredom, the sibling fights, the weird food at grandma's that you had to pretend to enjoy eating. This isn't about ruining nice memories. It's about making them accurate, balanced, realistic, and honest. Because when childhood seems only magical, your present will always feel like a disappointment by comparison, unfairly. She remembers family road trips as adventure. But wait, her brother threw up every single car ride, and the motels smelled weird, and Dad got lost constantly, and everyone was cranky by hour 3 definitely. The trip was still good, but it wasn't perfect. Just like right now isn't actually all bad either. Balanced memories lead to balanced perspective, and balanced perspective leads to less unfair self-criticism today. Fix 3. Create nostalgia for right now, because future you is going to romanticize this moment eventually anyway. In 20 years, you'll look back at this time fondly, guaranteed. It's just how memory works always. Your tiny apartment? Future you will miss it. Your overwhelming job? You'll remember the funny parts mostly. So why not appreciate it now, before your brain has to lie to you about it later on? He's eating cereal at his kitchen counter, stressed about work, thinking about how simple childhood was. But wait, in 20 years, this moment will be the golden memory, the tiny kitchen, the simple breakfast, the girlfriend who's still sleeping, the Chihuahua waiting for crumbs, the quiet morning before chaos begins completely. Future him will say, remember when we lived in that little house? God, those were good times, honestly. Once per day, look around and think, this will be a core memory someday for my future self. Your commute, your desk, your ridiculous co-workers, all future nostalgia material waiting to be appreciated now. She catches herself romanticizing college, stops, looks at her messy apartment. This too will become golden someday, not because it's perfect, but because it's hers, and that's enough to make it memorable and meaningful. Creating nostalgia now is just appreciating your life before time forces you to appreciate it later. And it costs nothing, takes 2 seconds, but completely changes how you feel about your current daily life. So, your childhood wasn't actually better, your brain is just an extremely talented creative director about it. The fading affect bias softened all the pain. Your limited perspective hid all the adult stress completely. And nostalgia literally drugs you with feel-good chemicals to keep you coming back for more escapes. But now you know. Check the present when nostalgia spikes intensely. Balance your memories with reality honestly. Create nostalgia now by appreciating this moment, before your brain has to edit it into gold later. Because here's the secret nobody tells you. The good old days are happening right now all around you. You just can't see it yet, because you're too busy waiting for them to happen in some imaginary future. She puts down the phone at 2 a.m., looks around her little apartment, smiles slightly. This is enough. Tomorrow will be hard, but someday she'll romanticize even this. Might as well enjoy it now properly. If this episode hit close to home, you know what to do. Subscribe button right there. Press it now. Next week, why you always feel behind, even when you're technically ahead of everyone around you. See you there.